Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, signs the presidential decree nominating members of the Council of the Nation for a 6-year period. Representing the head of state, Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi is received by the Sierra Leonean President, focusing on promoting bilateral cooperation and consultations. The National Memory Day is commemorated throughout the country with several activities and the participation for the first time of a French delegation. The May 8th massacres are commemorated in France as well, with the inauguration of a plaque in Nanterre amid the tense contacts between the two countries. Welcome back. First off, in accordance with the provisions of Article 121, Paragraph 3 and 122, Paragraphs 2 and 3 of the Constitution, the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has signed a presidential decree appointing the following individuals as members of the Council of the Nation for a term of 6 years, starting from the date of their inauguration: Dalila Benjoudi, Aissa Bouraqba, Ayash Djibabliya, Belqasem Bukhari, Lakhdar Lahbiri, Haj Belghouthi. In other developments, representing the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi was received by the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, in the capital, Freetown. This was during his participation in the 3rd African High-Level Forum on South-South and Triangular Cooperation for Sustainable Development in Freetown, Sierra Leone. The Prime Minister conveyed the greetings of the President of the Republic and his wishes for further progress and prosperity for the people of Sierra Leone. For his part, President Julius Maada Bio tasked the Prime Minister to convey his greetings to the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, and his deep appreciation for his remarkable efforts to promote joint African action, particularly through the African Peer Review Mechanism, being the chairperson of the forum. He also emphasized his strong will to strengthen bilateral cooperation and to continue coordination and consultation. The official commemoration of the National Memory Day coincided with May 8, 1945, under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, took place this morning at the nation's palace in Algiers. It was organized by the Ministry of Mujahideen and Rights Holders under the theme Day of Memory, Memorable Day for a Hoped Era. The ceremony was held in the presence of the Speaker of the People's National Assembly, members of the government, the Secretary General of the government, the First President of the Supreme Court, the President of the Constitutional Court, state officials and members of the revolutionary family, as well as friends of the revolution. A ceremony honoring the victims of French colonial massacres, especially those of May 8, 1945, was held at Palais des Nations. For the first time, a French parliamentary delegation attended as part of efforts toward official recognition of the atrocities. Report by Miriam Dami's, commentary by Manal Maafa.
They are living witnesses to history. These mujahideen or war veterans still carry vivid memories of the massacres committed by the French colonizer. For them, this commemoration is more than a duty of remembrance. It is a painful reminder of a historic justice.
General Duval,
who led the massacres, said at the time, "I have crushed the movement for now, but if it returns in 10 years, it will be unstoppable. Be careful, Algerians hold grudges." It didn't take 10 years. The revolution began in 9 on November 1st, 1954. And by 1962, Algeria had won its independence.
Voilà le problème. Eh bien, ça n'a pas mis 10 ans, ça met 9 ans. Le 1er novembre 54, déclenchement de la révolution.
مجازر الثامن ماي 45.
The May 8, 1945 massacres left indelible marks of pride, glory and sacrifice on our nation's history. From Serif, Gelma and Kharata to other regions, the violence was meant to crush resistance, but instead it reignited the struggle that led to the War of National Liberation. May 8, 1945 massacres left a lasting mark on our nation. Symbols of pride, sacrifice and resistance, they were meant by the colonizer to crush the resistance. Instead, they reignited it, leading to the War of National Liberation. a historic turning point driven by a people who never retreat when it comes to the homeland's honor.
Ce déplacement aujourd'hui, en tout cas en tant qu'élu avec des parlementaires.
We are here as elected officials, including members of the French Parliament, with a deep connection to this land, our children's country and our parents' homeland. We are honored to take part in this conference, not just for symbolic gestures, but also to support meaningful work on this issue. These archival images reveal the brutality of the repression. 8 decades later, they stand as a powerful reminder of a past that endures and for the enduring need for recognition.
The parliamentary and French delegation, accompanied by the Minister of War Veterans and Rights Holders, visited the National Museum of El Mujahid, where they learned about the struggle of the Algerian people through pictures and models that bring back the painful memories of the crimes of French colonialism against innocent Algerians. They've agreed on the need to delve deeper in the memory file. The Minister of Youth, in charge of the Higher Council of the Youth, Mustafa Hidawi, presided over the launch of the project Young Ambassadors of the Memory Will Not Forget. This meeting brought together young Algerians from across the country. Mustafa Hidawi noted that this initiative aims at preserving the identity and national memory, in addition to reinforcing the values of citizenship for young people. On the same topic, the Wali, or Governor of Algiers, chaired at the Resistance Square a memorial ceremony for the martyrs of May the 8th, 1945. He gave the kickoff signal for a caravan memory accompanied by the President of the National Civil Society Observatory, members of the revolutionary family, and local authorities. A march was organized in Sétif province as a powerful reminder of the horrific events of May 8, 1945, when a celebration tragically morphed into a brutal massacre. The event witnessed the participation of men, women, and children from diverse nationalities, with the sole objective to honor the lives of the martyrs. Reported by Walid Yousfi, taken up by Melissa Kebesh.
Commemorating a day etched in the country's collective memory, the province of Sétif marked the 80th anniversary of the May 8, 1945 massacres with a march. Citizens walked together like their fellow citizens did decades ago, a powerful testament to the enduring impact of the tragic events.
I am from Sétif, therefore it is important for me to be here and take part in this commemoration, which is very moving.
Participer à cette commémoration qui est très, très, très émouvante.
On est là pour justement se rappeler, ne pas oublier.
We are here to recall and not forget the tragedy that occurred. The entire world must not forget.
De cette tragédie et que l'ensemble du monde entier n'oublie pas ce qui s'est passé à cette période-là.
In a powerful display of solidarity, the march witnessed the presence of diverse nationalities. This presence underscores the universal significance of the event as a reminder of the importance of remembering historical injustices and to honor the memory of the victims who simply claimed the right to freedom.
We came here to honor the memory of the massacre's victim, to also learn more about the tragedy of the May 8 massacres. It is with deep sorrow that we are here today to honor our brave ancestors who sacrificed their lives for the nation, for the country. Today we call on France to recognize this genocide.
This event highlights the great dimension of May 8, 1945 massacres for the nation and honors the victims who sacrificed their lives 80 years ago for an independent and triumphed Algeria.
The massacres of May 8, 1945 were also commemorated on the other side of the Mediterranean. Commemorative plaque has been inaugurated in the French city of Nanterre as a homage to the victims of Sétif, Guelma, Kharata and other cities brutally killed for demanding their right to freedom. Reported by Afaf Belouchet, taken up by Melissa Kebesh.
In Nanterre, just outside of Paris, a significant act of remembrance has unfolded against the backdrop of Europe Day. A long-overlooked tragedy has been brought into focus. For the first time, a permanent memorial has been established in the French city, a plaque dedicated to the Algerian victims of May 8, 1945.
The journey of May 8 reminds us of what occurred on the same day in 1945. The most important thing is to reconcile the memories and discuss them and pass them to the next generation.
This occasion serves as a powerful reminder of the brutal suppression of Algerian voices demanding their freedom and dignity. The newly unveiled memorial stands as a testament to 45,000 Algerian lives lost during peaceful demonstrations.
Il y a 10 ans exactement, 2015, nous avons
It's been 10 years. In 2015, we've initiated a gathering work for recognition. It is important within this context of the 80th anniversary of these massacres, of this crime against humanity, that the French authorities recognize it. We are here to transmit this memory to the young generations. We are here today to commemorate the horrific event and not forget it. All young people must preserve memory.
Pour s'engager justement dans ce devoir.
La vérité, on la connaît déjà.
We already know the truth. The archives will eventually come out. We are here with our families so they can know the truth regarding the history of Algeria. We are here to remind France that during those 3 days, 45,000 people lost their lives. It must officially recognize its war crimes and apologize to the Algerian people.
On demande aujourd'hui la reconnaissance de ces massacres.
Today, we demand the recognition of May the 8th, 1945 massacres. That today will allow the launching of a new dynamic in terms of historic research.
The old generation was also present to recall that day and honor those who fell for the love of the homeland.
I cried for those who died on May the 8th, 1945. They wrote history with blood. We'll write it with gold for the upcoming generations.
This milepost event marks a crucial step in acknowledging the brutal repression of Algerians. This memorial in Nanterre stands as a powerful symbol, a long overdue tribute to thousands of Algerians who fell for Algeria's freedom and dignity.
More than a day of mourning, May the 8th, 1945 marked the awakening of a nation born in blood and defiance. It became the spark of a revolution that inspired struggles for freedom far beyond Algeria's borders. Melissa Lila Balaman, Amira Sifta.
May 8, 1945 opened a new chapter in the Algerian history, etched in suffering and sacrifice, yet marked by a powerful awakening. It was the moment a people rose against humiliation, igniting the first spark of a revolution that would one day become a full-fledged war for freedom.
Les Algériens vont sortir évidemment joyeusement pour fêter la fin de la guerre parce qu'ils sont concernés dans la mesure.
Algerians came out joyfully to celebrate the end of the war, as many of them had fought and died in Europe, from Monte Cassino to southern France. They helped liberate Europe, yet while they fought abroad, French colonialism brutally repressed their peaceful celebrations at home, killing a young scout simply for carrying the Algerian flag, triggering a bloody crackdown.
En réprimant violemment les manifestations de joie qui sont initiées par le peuple algérien.
Mais là, pour le coup, on va vous parler du massacre du 8 mai 1945.
Let's talk about the May 8, 1945 massacre in Algeria. The Algerian people who welcomed Frantz Fanon, who fought and won their independence, are revolutionary people.
Fanon, Frantz Fanon. Le peuple algérien, c'est ce peuple révolutionnaire.
The Algerian resistance echoed far beyond its borders, inspiring liberation movements from sub-Saharan Africa to Indochina. Across the colonized world, a truth became undeniable. True independence would never be handed over. It had to be snatched through struggle.
Après la défaite du colonialisme français en Indochine.
After France's colonial defeats in Indochina, North Africa and Algeria, some bold French journalists described the contradiction as external fascism. Liberal democracies allowed freedom at home while exporting repression and exploitation abroad.
De liberté démocratique qui ne les empêchait pas d'exporter vers l'extérieur des politiques d'exploitation et de répression de type fascisme.
Aujourd'hui, c'est un jour pour nous qui pourrait devenir un jour.
Today is a day of remembrance and celebration, honoring the heroes who led us on the path to independence, dignity and resistance. Let's not forget that there are still 2 colonized nations today, and all peoples deserve to be free.
N'oublions pas aujourd'hui qu'il y a quand même 2 pays qui restent colonisés et qu'il est important qu'enfin sur cette terre, les peuples soient tous libres.
Alors la question se pose de savoir comment l'État français.
How could the French state, liberated thanks to the USSR, the Americans, and colonial troops like Senegalese and Algerians, go on to use the same methods used on them to crush the Algerian people in May 1945?
Les tirailleurs sénégalais, les Algériens, enfin les colonisés français.
May 1945 was not just a day of tragedy, it was the spark that ignited a relentless march towards independence, a milepost forever engraved in the soul of the nation.
Coming up in our news edition. Shelters and makeshift tents are targeted by the Zionist entity in escalation against Palestinian civilians struggling for survival. Welcome back. International developments now. Huge demonstrations are expected today in Mali to denounce the decision to dissolve political parties and appoint Assimi Goïta as the president of the country without holding elections, a move castigated as a crackdown on opposition parties since the military junta took grip on Mali. As the Makhzen regime accelerates its step toward further concessions in the normalization process, basic citizens' rights are steadily eroding, turning even the most fundamental demands into distant luxury. Ismahan Sultan and Manan Maafa.
This citizen cries out as she lays her child in a hospital corridor instead of a proper bed. Footage captured the moment a Moroccan woman gave birth on the hospital floor after being denied admission due to her inability to pay. The shocking scene stirred public outrage and exposed the stark failures of the healthcare system.
وانا عندي خوتي في البلاد كاين اللي ما عندوش العشاء تغطيه صحيه ولا سبيطارات اخويا في كاين شي سبيطار انا هاي ضربه ديري لي 4 الغرزات شنو هي هذه.
This is neither the first case nor it will be the last. While the Moroccan people endure poverty and hardship, the Makhzen regime presses ahead with normalization, leaving its citizens trapped in a maze of declining living standards, inflation and daily crisis. The result, an internally isolated regime, increasingly exposed and discredited on the international stage.
Zionist forces continue their brutal assault in occupied Palestine, now targeting shelters and makeshift tents in their ongoing genocide against unarmed civilians. Wissam Abu Zaid and Melissa Lila Balaman.
These are cries filled with deep pain that has seeped into the hearts of Palestinian families as they bid farewell to over 100 martyrs killed in a series of airstrikes across various areas of the Gaza Strip as the Zionist occupation continues its massacres in the past 24 hours. 5 members of my family were in there. Everyone is dead. My father, my brother, his wife and their son. But my faith in God will never falter. Among the targets, a shelter designated for the sick and people with disabilities in central Gaza, leaving dozens of martyrs and wounded. Families were left homeless after the occupation burned and destroyed all their belongings and their fragile tents. There was a humanitarian shelter. Tonight, there is no shelter, just strikes. Where did it hit? We don't know. A blind man with his daughter were among the victims. The Zionist airstrikes also focused on schools being used as shelters, resulting in the deaths of more children and women. Wherever the displaced go, the occupation follows them with all kinds of weaponry, stealing innocent lives, causing destruction and ruin, making it clear that every place in Gaza is a target that may be bombed at any moment. My eldest daughter was in kindergarten. The second is just 2.5 years old. What was their crime? Aren't they just children? It's enough, truly enough. I've already lost one brother and now another has been martyred. The Zionist entity's continued bombings of homes, shelters, and makeshift tents, aiming to inflict the highest number of civilian casualties, is a now exposed strategy to gain political leverage after 19 months of failure to achieve its goals through aggression.
The end of our news. Thank you for watching. Good night.